My name is Sara. I'm working in Aker Solutions, which is a company part of the Aker Group. We are known for being a leader in EPC in the Nordic area. We focus very much on Norway and UK as well. And my presentation today is about our journey in designing and building autonomous systems for autonomous operations for our customers. So what does the word autonomous mean? I think often in our industry, we mix up autonomy with automation. But autonomy is not about machines that are doing tasks, but about systems that can actually sense, decide, and act independently, while still being aligned with the human intent and safety. Think about it as a nervous system. The eyes and ears are basically the sensors and instrumentation that you have in your platform or asset. The brain are the algorithms that we utilize, and hands are actuators that can actually go and do certain physical activities. But autonomy is also more than just technology. It's about mindset. It's about the mindset shift from being reactive in our operations to more predictive, manual to digital, and centralized decision-making and control to more distributed intelligence. I'll give you examples. For example, drones that are inspecting flare without a pilot, or a digital twin that can predict corrosion issues before they actually happen, or remote operations center that can orchestrate maintenance operations remotely. But also autonomy is not always about being fast, but it's about being smart, sustainable, and safe. But here is the paradox that we see. As we are making our systems more autonomous, our decision-making has to be more human, because autonomy really depends on trust, and it depends on accountability, and it depends on leadership. And today, I want to share with you the journey that we are taking in Aker Solutions to build and design these autonomous systems, and we build trust by design, resilience, transparency, and control. And this is our promise to ourselves and to our customers. It's about ensuring safety in the autonomous operations, efficiency, lowering the cost, of course, resilience, sustainability, moving us into real transformation. And what we mean by transformation in this case is really setting a new standard on how we do operations. And we already have a word first. Recently, we have announced that we have completed a first pilot with some of our customers to do remote operations of drones on one of the platforms in the Norwegian continental shelf. And of course, we enable a lot of the processing utilizing artificial intelligence. It's impossible today to speak about robotics and drones without linking it to how you are actually going to analyze and interpret the data. So we are the first company in Europe to secure what is called a certification for beyond visual line of sight. So that is one of the most risky and difficult authorization approved by national and European civil aviation authorities. And it enables us to conduct autonomous operations with drones from onshore. So we can actually run with this certification unlimited offshore and onshore inspections. We can do these operations remotely from land, which means that we don't need to send people and that we have a stationary drone installation on the asset. Of course, this is key to support low manned installations, but also unmanned installations, like some of the fields that are being developed that you heard about yesterday. And also, obviously, it's boosting productivity with digital and flexible solutions. And we are not able to do transformation without collaboration. And we bet on collaboration with customers and partners to drive this transformation. Recently, we have also completed a first pilot using a tow rope. As you can see to the left of the slide. What we have done here is we have actually, of course, we have tested it in our lab in Oslo, or just outside of Oslo. And we have actually made sure that we have all of the certifications to ensure that we can test the tower up out on Edvard Grieg. And the idea here was to program a specific round of inspection that we have done, collect data, and be able to ensure that the data is transferred through IT and OT system in a way that is as per the standards required in the asset, and then analyze the data for certain identifications of anomalies. And this collaboration was between Aker BP and Cognite and Aker Solutions. Another example of collaboration that is needed is currently we are developing a groundbreaking offshore detection system that allows us to actually detect drones that are not supposed to be in the area. And you might have seen in the media that is a lot more of these threats happening today around certain critical infrastructures, both onshore and offshore. And here we are partnering with Kongsberg and Squarehead to ensure that we use some of the advanced software capabilities that they provide, mix it up with the hardware and fleet management system that we have selected for our offering. This is something that is being worked out today, and the idea is to demo it to the market very soon. I mentioned artificial intelligence. This is key. Various use cases that have already been developed today, tested also in the field. I can mention some of them. Corrosion is one of the typical ones that we have looked at with data that is being gathered from robots or drones, but we have also looked at cases of dropped objects, basically physical objects that should not be in certain areas, and also doing thermal analysis to see where you have heat, where you shouldn't have. But you can have a bunch of other instrumentation on your robot or drone that collects data, and then you can do various advanced analytics or data science on that. This is a little bit on our offering, if you like, around drones, robotics, and AI. I've mentioned resident drone, so we want to spend less time offshore and more time in control. And this is about the possibility to have drones sitting and stationary on an asset 24/7 without any person there to assist them, but rather have the control happening from our control center that is actually in Stavanger on the west coast of Norway. Autonomous inspections is another key offering that we have. Feet off the ground, eyes on the data. So here is let the robot handle the repetitive or hazardous inspection rounds that you typically do, and rather have the people safe and controlling and monitoring the assets remotely. Autonomous operations and maintenance is something that we are also developing. Here is a picture of, in fact, a robot that is actually doing welding. And this is in one of our facilities in Norway, one of the yards where we build these large structures. And these robots are both programmed to do certain welding, but also is capable to analyze issues with the weld and repair itself. So it's actually self-healing welding process, if you like. Emission monitoring is something that we see customers are asking more and more about that. So here is about being able to measure emissions right and be able to manage that better. Autonomous sensors and analytics continuously tracking emissions. That is something that we offer today as well. I mentioned the drones that are actually detecting other drones that should not be there. That's the CUAS. We detect what we can't see. It's something that we've seen various customer or potential customers, not our traditional customers, but our customers coming to us because they would like to ensure their infrastructure is protected. And then AI is a key part there. All of this offering, we have taken a decision earlier this year that all of the data harvesting, the data contextualization will be done on CDF. And that's what we have been developing our system towards. And the reason why we have selected that is to be able to scale the offerings on the same platform. But also we have seen that our developers who are building the use cases, they're actually able to be efficient in building the use cases because the data is ready for them. And this is something that is a reflection that they have had directly, which I didn't really recognize at the start. They tell me, Sara, I'm able to actually start working on my algorithm right away on good data. So I don't have to spend days and days actually sorting that out It's there for me and I can scale it. So that's a really good reflection for us. But of course, there are a lot of challenges in the journey. And here we are selecting various examples that we have seen while we are developing this offering, but also when we are testing some of these offerings with some of our customers. And I'll start with hardware. Imagine you have a drone that is designed to do some inspection. It's actually smart, it's agile, and it's autonomous. But it fails when you have high wind. Autonomy is not just about intelligence, but it's also about resilience, meaning that we need to design this hardware and the software together with it in a way that adapts to the environment where we are operating. The second area of challenges that we see is around digital. You can have a predictive maintenance system that could flag a critical issue on a valve or a pump, for example, except that the data was actually not real data, it was simulated data. Autonomy demands clean data, contextualized and trustworthy. Otherwise, we are making decisions in the dark. Again, data is the foundation to make sure that your decisions are the right ones. Third, culture. I think this is obviously very known to all of you, hopefully. You can introduce an autonomous maintenance system in a legacy asset, for example, and you will see that your biggest challenge is the people accepting it or being worried about it. They will come and say, well, if the drone is able to do my job, what is my value? And here it has been very clear in our AI charter and the way we think strategically about AI is that AI is not to replace the human, but is really to actually augment it. And that is something that we work with as part of how we adopt and integrate AI in our processes. And then finally, security. Of course, autonomy, especially autonomy without security, will be a liability. So that's something that you need to design for security. We must have systems that are not only smart, but safe by design and secure by design. This is how we see our journey today. We are definitely not at the end of it. We are at the start of it. We are able today to offer visual integrity inspections, where we do data harvesting and analysis on CDF, Cognite Data Fusion. We're also moving right now to looking into how we can do isolated, simple maintenance activities with drones, basically drones or typically robots that can actually operate certain physical elements. And then later we will expand that maintenance to more advanced maintenance where we can plan a full maintenance round. We can take actions based on what we see on the asset right there and then, obviously using AI and historical data as well. So it's not only about being able to orchestrate a set of activities, but it's also being able to learn from previous inspections and previous actions that were taken when anomalies were detected. So this is our mission. It's really about unlocking value through remote, digital, and autonomous operations. Three key elements and pillars to the transformation journey is data harvesting. Is number one. It's obvious, but it's something that needs to be done in a good way that integrates OT and IT, and on a platform that allows you to actually scale and increase your value and offering and services on that. It's about integrating analytics and AI. It could be from simple data analytics to more advanced machine learning. Computer vision is very much used today in some of our offering. And technology is basically selecting the right technology, the right fleet management systems, and other advanced software to offer an integrated solution for customers. And we see this is not something that is only asked for in oil and gas industry, but also in CCS installations, offshore wind and hydrogen installations and assets as well. Thank you.
All right, let's now open up for some questions.
Hi, Chris Wilmore with ExxonMobil. Thank you for presenting for us today. Question I have is very specific. I showed the Tara robot on there. I'd like to know if you know two things, like how was the performance in navigating the facility for that particular robot? We've tried others. I'm curious about that one. And then also, you said that was a partnership with Cognite. Were you using iRobot or what's their robot platform? I can't remember the name of it. It's part of the InRobot. Yeah, InRobot. And if you could maybe elaborate on that a little bit, that'd be great.
Yeah. I'll start with the last question first. No, we have not used InRobot. It's something that we are looking into. The focus has been on the last two pilots that we have done in Edvard Grieg was to ensure that we have the right inspection scope and collect the data and do analytics on the data. So we have used CDF as a data platform purely, and then we have actually done the analytics outside of that. It doesn't mean that we won't do it in Cognite, but we haven't basically decided on how to work out that. On the first question, we have capabilities to do robotic simulation, which means that we actually simulate a whole path for maintenance before we actually program that maintenance. So that is also a separate offering that we have in a group that is called Visionary today that allows us to do that sort of simulation. So that sort of simulation capabilities, you can do it on robots and say, okay, this is what I would like to do. How is my facility looking? Can my robot of this size and weight and all of that, can it actually go around and can it be able to collect the right data? But we also use the same visionary capabilities to actually do, if you want, training of personnel before they go offshore to carry certain type of work. So it's the same type of simulations that we utilize. So not going blind and doing the inspection with the robot, but we have actually done the planning in a software outside, and then we have implemented that program on the fleet management system.
Real world that it handles the actual handle can go upstairs.
Yes.
The egress.
Yes, so it goes up and down the stairs. It has some limitations in terms of the turns, so that is something that you need to recognize as well. But it has done the rounds that we expected to do. Yeah.
Good. That's up behind you. I got your rear.
All right. This Michael. Yep, there you go. For your drone, for your autonomous drone, do you have the capability to fly it without line of sight in the United States yet? If not, do you plan to?
We have certification today in Europe.
Okay.
So we have done it in Europe, where we had basically a stationary drone on Edvard Grieg, I believe it was, and we had our control system and people operating it and controlling it from Stavanger on the west coast of Norway.
Do you plan to be able to get that same ability to do it in the United States as well? Because I know you have to get approval to do that as well in the United States.
We will need to get certification, but of course, if there is a market and customer for that, we will go for it. I think one of the we have been building very strong competency on operating robots and drones specifically. So we actually have certification to train ourselves, our own pilots. And we are also offering that service to other companies outside of Aker Solutions, so in a strategic way. So we have been building a lot of that competency around operating drones specifically, but also we have been building a lot of competency in understanding the market offering for the drones, the sensors, but also the software to actually manage the fleet of drones and robots. So we have been doing a very thorough assessment, and we are pretty technology agnostic, but we also have some favorites that we have seen work better and integrate better with what we need to do.
I have a question over here.
Yes.
Has your inspection scope changed with this? Thinking about traditionally across frequency, across what you inspect for, compared to maybe how you used to do this?
Can you repeat the question, Ace?
Yeah, how the scope of the inspections have changed, going from doing these processes manually to now incorporating robotics and drones?
One of the surprises that we have seen talking to our own maintenance department, which is quite experienced department, but also quite large in terms of the number of people, is that taking on the robots and drones means that you actually take away the dirty work from the people. So they are actually happy with that change to take place. We are working on utilizing a lot of their knowledge and experience into building it into the offering. Customers, of course, love that because they are looking into ways on how they can optimize their OPEX, operating costs, but also how they can optimize in terms of the space that they have on the facility. How can they actually remove sleep-in and canteen facilities and then replace it with other technology that they actually need to, extend the lifetime or do tiebacks or other type of modifications that they need. So I think it's both ways. The experience of the experts trying to take away this dirty work, as they call it themselves, and then have a machine do that with their supervision and their expertise. And then you have the customer looking at OPEX capabilities, but also, of course, safety is a number one element there as well. Yeah.
Great presentation. Really welcome with friends.
Question on the drones inspection capabilities. Is it purely visual, or are they able to do like UT wall thickness testing on pressure vessels?
Right now, it's we have visual, we have thermal, and we have leak detection as well. Those are kind of the key ones that we have developed today. But we are looking at the various sensorization that is available, but also the various kind of inspection cases that are available as well. Yeah. Thank you.
Anything else? Up. We go.
Hello, Emmanuel Brochet, Total Energy. I wanted to know if you have also developed some systems that can be common to the usage of drones and robotics, for example, navigation system or things that can be common, because this ecosystem sometimes doesn't speak each other, but in terms of IT behind, in terms of intelligence, there could be common topics on both vectors. What is your vision about that?
So strategically, we have taken the decision that some elements are not something that we want to develop ourselves, but there are better companies out there that actually do that job. And that's where the Technology Watch has been a key part of this, to analyze these different offerings that are out in the market. And the selection that we have done, we have also taken it a little bit further, where we actually utilized it and see how it integrates. Now it's important for us to also talk to customers to see what you are utilizing, what would be better to integrate with. We are technology agnostic. I think the importance for us is the ability to do system integration and understand the actual end user needs, the customer final kind of business needs, and then work it out backwards to see what is the right software to utilize, what is the right platform to utilize. For example, with Total Energy, CDF is out there, so that's going to be perfect, at least for that part of the integration, meaning that we can scale a bunch of other use cases, from identifying issues to issuing work orders or procurement orders that need to go out there. So there is actually a lot more to find in an issue and then actually doing something about it as well.
Yes. There's a question over here. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yep.
On the CUAS, the drone detection, do you have drone repellent to go along with that, or is it just detecting?
Good question. I don't want to give you a wrong answer. I'm a little bit unsure, but I'll get your contact details and then we can look at it with the team. Yes. There's a question here.
Hello, Amin from SBM. I have a question regarding the use case about visual inspection. So I would guess, and you can confirm that your data that you collect would sit in CDF and the analytics maybe as well, but are you as well providing any user interface to the integrity people, for example, to look at the results?
We have to.
Is it in CDF as well?
No, today is not in CDF, but it could be in CDF. We have started developing a pilot use case interface right now to be able to navigate the various use cases that we have and the various kind of jobs that we do with the robot. But we haven't really matured the user interface that much because I think we need to understand a little bit more the market demands and what kind of offering we need to develop further. So it's a little bit use cases that are today available, but we have agreed on the data platform and working out the whole integration. But the user interface is something that we need to continue working on. It's not, I wouldn't say it's actually mature today because we need to understand a little bit more what the customers want.
That'd be great.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the presentation. You've shown a lot of pilots, a lot of proofs of concept. Are any of these productized yet? Are any of them being done routinely and regularly? And if not, which do you think will be first?
I think we have matured further 2 cases around thermal analysis, or maybe 3. Thermal analysis, corrosion, and drops objects. Those are something that we have packaged already and we can offer commercially today. In parallel, again, we really need to hear from customers what they need because we have a list of use cases that we can develop, we can acquire the data for, and we can build the analytics that are needed, and we can use the expertise from our maintenance domain people to actually build up. But we are lacking that. So it's a little bit of kind of see and wait and see what is the right offering for us to invest in. Yeah. In parallel, there is a lot of work about, getting the right experience on the robots and drones to operate them safely. Kind of the physical aspect of that is also something that is very important that we spend quite a lot of effort on. Yeah.
Sara, this is Amit. We have seen quite a few instances where customers are slightly hesitant to take up new pilots, move them into production because adoption at the offshore rig becomes a bit of an issue.
Mm.
It's about change, it's about safety. How do you, that's one part. And second is all these POCs and pilots, at the end of the day, they cost money. And so how do you, one, handle the adoption bit? And 2, what do you do for ROI and measuring, make sure the cost is not overrun? Because you have a lot of pilots, and I understand it's an innovative space, so you have to do pilots and POCs. How do you kind of handle that aspect? Thank you.
I mean, traditionally, we know that, for example, if you look at oil and gas assets, the OPEX cost during the lifetime of an asset is 4 times what it costs you to actually build that big structure. So customers are looking at productivity. And productivity means, like Kala was saying yesterday, that you can actually do more with less. Robotics is obviously part of that, and AI is obviously part of that. There is a safety aspect, as I mentioned already, as well, where, of course, customers would like to avoid sending people out there and have robots do the job for them. But I do see a bit of lack of customers wanting to take that journey. It's a little bit of wait and see, maybe someone else will prove it. And that's why we are keen to do the pilots and package them in a commercial setting as well and demonstrate it to show that technology exists and some customers are willing to take that first step. Who is the next customer willing to take that step as well? Yeah.
Any final questions? All right. Sara, we really appreciate you taking the time to share the Aker Solutions story.
Thank you.